It was my birthday, and as we sat at the dinner table, a strange feeling settled over me. I looked at Liam, my husband, and tried to make a lighthearted joke. "Do you love me?" I asked, hoping for a simple, loving response. Liam gave me a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You're in your 30s," he said, his tone dismissive. "Why are you acting so sentimental?" I lowered my gaze, a lump forming in my throat. My eyes flickered to the screenshot on my phone, a painful image from a recent chat. It showed Liam holding another woman, Sophia, in his arms, kissing her with a passion that had long faded from our own relationship. His message to her was a heartfelt confession. "You are the only one I've ever loved." Looking up again, I tried to keep my voice steady. "Can you give me a birthday present?" Liam agreed without hesitation. "What do you want? Just say it." I quickly slipped off my wedding ring, the cool metal feeling foreign against my skin. "A fresh start, Liam. Let's get a divorce." Liam didn't seem to register my words at first. His eyebrows furrowed slightly as he set down his knife and fork. He slowly wiped his mouth with a napkin, then finally looked up at me, his expression a mixture of impatience and disbelief. "Clara, what's gotten into you?" I took a sip of my juice, trying to keep my emotions in check. "What? We're not allowed to be romantic." 5 years of marriage, and it felt like too much to ask for a simple expression of love. Liam stood up and walked over to me, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Come on, don't be like this. You know I'm not good with sweet words. I heard you lost a project recently. Feeling down? In a few days, I have a business expo. Come with me, get some fresh air." I avoided his touch and spoke again, my voice firm. "I'll have the divorce papers ready for you soon." Liam's expression darkened. "Clara, are you joking? You're pregnant and now you want a divorce? Are your hormones messing with you?" They probably were. I'd always been even-tempered, known for my composure in the business world, but ever since I got pregnant, my emotions had been all over the place. I stood up and tossed my phone onto the table in front of him. "You're the one at fault here. Don't push me or this will end up in court, and trust me, you won't like it." On the screen was the chat log Nadia had sent me. In the background of the conversation, surrounded by a group of cheering classmates, Sophia and Liam were locked in an intense kiss. The messages were Liam's raw, emotional confession to Sophia, fragmented words mixed with filler sounds clearly transcribed from a voice message. He wrote about how he had never forgotten her all these years, how marrying me at his parents' insistence was his biggest regret, how there was no rewind button, and that the only person he had ever truly loved was her. Liam quickly tried to explain. "That night was a class reunion. I was drunk. You know how Sophia is. She never respects boundaries. She must have grabbed my phone and typed those messages herself." I laughed, a short, bitter sound. "And the kiss? Was that a mistake too?" Liam hesitated for a moment. "Of course, I was completely out of it." He pinched the bridge of his nose, looking stressed. "You know what kind of person I am? Don't worry. I won't go to any more reunions." "Oh, I do know what kind of person you are." I picked up my phone and carefully read through the divorce process my assistant had just sent over. Liam chuckled, a forced, insincere sound. "That's more like it. That's my good wife. Happy birthday. I'm going to check on the expo details." He grabbed his coat and walked towards the door. Just as he was about to leave, I spoke in a calm voice. "Liam, you are a man who cheated on his wife while she was pregnant." Liam turned back, looking stunned. "Why are you being so unreasonable? I told you I was drunk." I swallowed my prenatal supplement and replied coldly, "Save it for the judge. Let's see if he buys it." Liam threw a half-hearted "get some rest" over his shoulder and left, slamming the door behind him. I cut myself a slice of my birthday cake and slowly took a bite. The sweet cream hit my throat, triggering a wave of nausea. I rushed to the bathroom and vomited. Just as I was struggling to recover, my phone rang. It was Nadia. Nadia had been a mentor to me when I started my own business. She was my first investor. After she chose to step away from work and focus on her family, we stayed close, especially now that we were both pregnant. We often went to prenatal checkups together. She always said that seeing me was like looking at an alternate version of herself, one that had made a different choice. But looking at the message she had just sent me, I wanted to laugh. What alternate version? When it came to men cheating after marriage, our stories were practically identical. The only difference was hers was even more dramatic. The photo she sent showed a man and a woman in a car, locked in a deep, passionate kiss. Their clothes were messy, their bodies entangled. Suppressing the nausea rising in my throat again, I picked up her call. Nadia was furious, her voice shaking with rage. I'm pregnant and Owen's out there sleeping with another woman. God, I feel so sick I could vomit my guts out. I didn't know how to comfort her, so I shared my own situation. Don't panic, same thing happened to me. We'll deal with this together. Nadia gasped. Liam? No way. Liam had always been the poster boy for the perfect husband. His life revolved around work and home, with nothing in between. He was known for being disciplined, spending his free time at the gym instead of bars or clubs, so Nadia's shock was understandable. But when I didn't deny it, her tone quickly turned to anger. Meet me at the hospital tomorrow morning. We'll both terminate our pregnancies. I immediately stopped her. No, Nadia, I'll go with you, but I'm keeping my baby. Hearing my decision, Nadia gave up on persuading me and instead launched into an endless rant. Worried she wouldn't get it all out over the phone, she made plans for us to meet for afternoon tea in a few days. After hanging up, I rubbed my temples and lay down on the bed. Liam was right about one thing. Pregnant women did need to rest. Just as I closed my eyes, my phone vibrated again. It was a message from Sophia. We hadn't spoken once since graduating from college, but ever since she returned last month, my inbox had been flooded. And now, one message after another, a whole essay poured in. Clara, I'm so sorry. At the reunion, I got so drunk and accidentally grabbed Liam's phone. I must have opened your chat and hit the voice recording button by mistake. Liam was drunk too. He didn't mean what he said. We were both so out of it that night, you know how it is. Clara, back in college, he and I, well, at the party, we ended up hugging, and the others egged us on and took photos. Later, they sent them to me, and I mindlessly set one as my chat background. Liam told me you're pregnant. He begged me to explain everything to you. I swear there's nothing between us. Please don't be mad. Let's meet up so we can apologize to you together. What a long list of accidents. Accidentally recorded a confession, accidentally set a kissing photo as a chat background, accidentally sent me a screenshot of it all. After all these years, Sophia hadn't changed one bit, still pretending to be sweet and innocent while doing the most disgusting things. Sophia brought up our university days. The three of us were college classmates. Liam and I had a relationship built on family ties, an arranged marriage between wealthy families, and a childhood friendship that spanned years from elementary school to high school. Our families meticulously planned our lives to overlap as much as possible. Liam was always outstanding, and I worked hard to keep up with him. University was the one thing our families couldn't directly arrange, so we both studied hard and got into the same school, tying for the top 2 spots in the entrance exam scores. When we received our acceptance letters, his grandfather brought Liam to my house. He said our marriage should be settled first, and once our studies stabilized in a couple of years, we would hold the engagement ceremony. His mother joked at the time, "Who knows what little temptress will show up in college? Some girls just throw themselves at Liam. It'd be bad if one of them ruined their engagement." Liam immediately shot back at her, his words sharp. "I only like Clara. Unless I go blind, there's no way I'd fall for another woman." The adults laughed. He grabbed my hand and pulled me into a quiet corner, my face turning red. That was the first time he kissed me. He promised to always take care of me and never betray me. But I never expected that in our first year of college, Liam would, in fact, go blind. He completely fell into Sophia's entanglement. And I say entanglement because Sophia never pursued him openly or seduced him in secret. Her method was different. She created coincidences and then acted completely innocent while explaining them away. I was her roommate. Liam and I had always been inseparable. The entire college knew we were a couple. Yet somehow, Sophia kept having these little incidents with Liam. For example, during a school trip, she rode her bike straight into his, fell hard, bruising her arms and even hitting her forehead so badly that she bled. Liam took her to the hospital afterward. She grabbed my hand and explained, Clara, don't get the wrong idea. We just went to the hospital. There's nothing going on between us. Or when Liam and I teamed up for student event, she signed up as a volunteer. During the event, she accidentally knocked over the drink Liam had bought for me, soaking the event materials. She immediately offered to reprint them and dragged Liam to the print shop. When they returned, she smiled at me and said, Clara, it was just printing some materials. Don't overthink it. At first, Liam found her annoying and vented to me about her. He said Sophia was the most irritating girl he'd ever met. But after a few more of these incidents, Liam changed. When he brought me snacks, he started bringing an extra portion for your poor roommate, he said. She's struggling financially, so we might as well help her out. Then they started joking around more, getting closer and closer. On my birthday that year, Liam put his arm around Sophia in front of everyone. He announced, From now on, Sophia is like a little sister to both of us. Sophia beamed and said, Not a sister, more like a brother. And then, like always, she added, Clara, don't get the wrong idea. I'm just joking. After being siblings for a while, Liam suddenly told me one day, I've realized my feelings for you were never romantic. We broke up. Liam and Sophia had a passionate relationship, but in the end, it all fell apart when Sophia followed her professor abroad. His grandfather was so furious that he beat Liam black and blue. Liam knelt at my doorstep all night, his wounds bleeding in the rain. In the hospital, unconscious from fever, he kept calling my name, begging for my forgiveness. My mother hugged me and said, Clara, men will make mistakes. Don't be so stubborn. My father, however, was livid. You're the one being foolish, he said. He's suffering out there, and you won't even let him in. Look what you've done. He's in the hospital now. In the end, I couldn't let go of the years we had spent together. Following my parents' arrangement, I got engaged to him. And now, Sophia was back. And the two of them were about to put on the same show all over again. Nadia chose a quiet, upscale tea house with a light menu. We had both been caught up in new developments in the past 2 weeks, but while she looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, messy hair, wrinkled clothes, I looked composed, dressed in a soft cashmere dress with a delicate white sweater chain. I took a bite of my pastry and swallowed a supplement. Nadia finally couldn't hold back. Did I hear wrong on the phone? Liam cheated. That's fake, right? I shook my head. You heard right. She looked baffled. Then I don't get it. If it were me, I'd be rushing to the hospital for surgery. What about you? He hurt you like this? And you're still going to have his child? You want to bring a kid into an unhappy family. I calmly patted her hand and asked her back, Nadia, we've known each other for years. Have I ever done anything without a plan? Under her scrutinizing gaze, I pulled out a prenuptial agreement. The contract stated that if either party cheated, their assets would go to the child. Nadia looked at me in admiration. You old money types really are different. Us nouveau folks would never think of something like this. I gave a small, bitter smile. It's just about securing interest through marriage, after all. In high-status marriages, divorce is seen as a destabilizing factor, so agreements like this are put in place. But this contract had a loophole. It only took effect if there was a child. And once a child was involved, most people, especially ordinary women, wouldn't choose to divorce after carrying a baby for 9 months and giving birth. How could a mother bear to let her child grow up without a father? I thought of my mother when I was young. She often cried to me about my father's affairs. Clara, I stayed for you and your brothers. I didn't want you to grow up without a father. Back then, I was curious about her decision, but now I saw things differently. I refused to be an ordinary woman. Nadia handed the agreement back with a bitter expression. Clara, I don't have a safeguard like this. I reassured her, think it through. This isn't something you can drag out, but it's also not something you need to rush into. Before I could finish my sentence, Nadia cut me off, her voice emotional again. I don't need to think, that disgusting man. No way I'm having his child. I wiped my mouth. All right, if you've made up your mind, then let's not waste time. I'll go with you. Let's get the procedure done today. At the entrance of the department, a girl had just come out of the operating room, her face pale. Another girl was crouching on the ground, hugging her knees, her head buried deep. When our number was finally called, Nadia clutched my sleeve tightly. She looked awful, her hands trembling slightly. I whispered, "What's wrong? You don't want to go in?" Nadia bit her lip and pulled me to the nearby stairwell. It was empty there. She slumped onto a row of chairs, covered her face, and started crying softly. I walked over and gently hugged her, coaxing in a low voice, "Don't hold it in. You can tell me anything." Nadia leaned on my shoulder, her voice trembling. "I hate this. I can't accept it. My body isn't suited for pregnancy. It was so hard for me to have this child, and now this is how it ends. If it were you, could you let go? And I haven't had my own income for a long time. He drained the company I built from the ground up. This child was my last bargaining chip to keep him. Without it, what do I do?" She let it all out in one breath. I sighed deeply and wiped her tears. "That's right. These are things you should take time to think through carefully, not just act on impulse." Nadia looked up. "You think you can just walk in and have surgery like that?" I chuckled. "You need an appointment, but some people only think clearly when they're cornered. So I had to push you into coming here. Now that you're calmer, we'll take our time and figure things out." Nadia hugged me tightly. Once she had composed herself, we headed to the prenatal checkup. But as soon as we stepped out of the elevator, we ran into Liam. He was standing in the surgery queue, supporting a woman with a bleeding leg. Both of them were dressed in workout clothes. She was draped in Liam's jacket, but it did nothing to hide her curvy figure. It was Sophia. "Isn't that Liam?" Nadia, who had just managed to calm down, was instantly boiling with rage. She marched straight over, grabbed Sophia, and slapped her across the face. "Everyone, look! This woman is a homewrecker, destroying someone else's marriage." Her words instantly drew a crowd. Sophia clutched her face, tears welling up in her eyes. In the chaos, before Liam could react, a young man holding a water bottle ran over. "Who are you calling a homewrecker?" "Oh, this is getting interesting, and who are you?" Nadia asked him, her voice sharp. "I'm Ethan, Sophia's student. She's an outstanding teacher. How dare you slander her?" He was tall and full of youthful energy. I had already looked into Sophia's life after she returned. She was now a university lecturer. This guy was likely one of her students. "Outstanding teacher? She's a homewrecker, and he's a married man." "Them being all cozy like this, what do you call that?" Nadia gestured between Liam and Sophia, her fingers flying. She was more furious about this affair than I was. The whole scene was almost comical. "You've got it wrong," Sophia sobbed, her face pitiful. "I hurt my leg and couldn't stand properly. I just happened to run into an old classmate at the gym, and he kindly brought me here. You can't just accuse people without proof." Liam quickly pulled back the arm that had been supporting her and snapped at the crowd. "It's just a misunderstanding. Nothing to see here. Move along." I let out a cold laugh. "Liam, you always say you're too busy to come with me to my checkups, but turns out this is what's keeping you busy." Liam walked over, trying to reassure me. "I've had a lot on my plate lately, so I've been hitting the gym more to relieve stress. Running into Sophia was just an accident." "Oh, another accident? First you were drunk, now this is accidental? That's quite a streak of coincidences." I smirked, pointing at the jacket on Sophia. "That sports jacket? I gave it to you." Hearing that, Liam immediately yanked the jacket off. Underneath, Sophia was wearing a tight crop top, her cleavage in full display. She shivered from the sudden chill. Ethan swiftly took off his own jacket and draped it over her shoulders, then twisted open a water bottle and handed it to her. "Professor, have some water to calm down." Sophia pushed the bottle away and walked toward me, her eyes full of tears. "Clara, we were college roommates. You know me. Nothing happened between us. He only gave me his jacket because I was cold." "You don't need to explain, Professor. The truth speaks for itself," Ethan said, pulling Sophia back. Liam took my hand. "Clara, let me go with you to your checkup. These three could put on a whole soap opera." I felt a wave of nausea. "No need. Stay here." I shook off his hand and pulled Nadia away. As we walked, Nadia muttered in satisfaction. I never got to catch my husband's mistress in the act, but at least I got to slap that. That felt good. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Nadia sighed. How are you so calm? Doesn't this make you angry? I've already been angry, I exhaled. Now I just want to solve the problem. Maybe Sophia showing up is a blessing in disguise, Nadia. I don't want to live like this anymore. When I first married Liam, I was filled with joy. Despite the ups and downs, I had married the person I had loved since college. I worked hard to maintain our relationship. Liam had some minor health issues, so I prepared nutritious meals for him year-round. He loved working out, so I accompanied him to the gym whenever I had time. But over time, I realized something was off. Whenever I was upset, his solution was always to buy me gifts, never once asking why I was unhappy. We worked out together, but there was no real interaction. Even when I wiped his sweat, he would dodge my touch. He wasn't like this before we got married. Back when he broke up with Sophia, he showered me with affection, saying he wanted to make up for his mistakes. But after marriage, it was as if the engine of a speeding car had suddenly cooled down. I agonized over it, unable to find an answer. Late at night, in moments of breakdown, I hugged him from behind and asked if I wasn't good enough, if there was something I should change. But he always said I was fine and that I was overthinking things. Eventually, I gave up. In public, we played the role of a loving couple. In private, we were just roommates. Then, not long ago, Liam held me and said, Clara, it's time for us to have a child. Let's create a symbol of our love. Both my mother and mother-in-law had been pressuring us to have a baby. For a moment, I let myself hope again. Maybe having a child would make things better. Before I could even answer that question, I found out I was pregnant. And just as suddenly, Sophia reappeared. Liam said he was drunk when he kissed Sophia, but I had seen him drunk countless times at business events. Every time, he remained composed. So the moment I saw the photo of them kissing, I knew our marriage was beyond saving. Liam's so-called drunken mistake only made me see things more clearly. All those gestures before our wedding weren't about making amends. They were just to trick me into marrying him. And after the wedding, he regretted following his family's wishes. The childhood love I had cherished for so long didn't even compare to a single drink he shared with Sophia. The night I received Sophia's screenshot, I couldn't sleep at all. My pillow was soaked with tears. I regretted being such a coward, struggling for so long in a marriage that was falling apart. Even more, I was ashamed of my own foolishness, actually thinking that having a child could save my marriage. But the child was innocent in all of this. In the end, I felt deeply relieved. At least, I never gave up on my career. And that was my greatest source of strength to keep going. After leaving the hospital with Nadia, we talked for a while. By the time I got home, Liam was already there. Clara, he walked towards me, trying to hug me. I quickly dodged his embrace. Don't touch me, you make me sick. His hand stiffened midair before he awkwardly withdrew it and handed me his phone. Clara, I know I shouldn't have any more contact with her. I really didn't expect to run into her at the gym. We were old classmates. I couldn't just ignore her. You can check my phone. I've deleted all her contacts. From now on, she's a stranger to me. Then he took out a necklace, his face full of insincere sincerity. Come on, don't be mad. It's bad for the baby. I got you this limited edition blue diamond necklace. Let me put it on you. I didn't say a word. Liam led me to the mirror and clasped the necklace around my neck. The blue diamond sparkled with a crystal clear brilliance. Looking at his eager-to-please expression for a moment, I felt like I had gone back to that rainy night. Back then, he was injured in the hospital, holding my hand just like this, begging for my forgiveness. Same trick. I wouldn't fall for it a second time. Liam bought cheap things like this all the time. I could buy a pile of them without a second thought. It's nothing special. I brushed my fingers over the necklace and spoke calmly. Liam had been leaning over, watching our reflection in the mirror. Hearing my words, he slowly straightened up. His voice turned cold. Fine. I'll find you something better next time. But you should be careful too. Don't get too close to Nadia. She's gone crazy. A while ago, she even hired a private investigator to follow her husband. You should know how to be a good wife. You always have. In the mirror, his long legs passed by in a blur. Then I heard the door click shut after he left. I immediately took out my phone. The surveillance footage my secretary had found had already been sent over. Liam told me not to be like Nadia, hiring a private investigator, huh? Like I'd waste that effort. What he didn't know was I had owned that gym for a long time. I was the owner. Back at the hospital, I had already asked my secretary to pull the security footage. In the footage, Sophia walked into the gym with Ethan following behind her. She scanned the room, spotted Liam, and quickly got on the treadmill next to his. From pretending to cover her face in shock to looking teary-eyed, it was a seamless transition. Then she moved to a treadmill far from Liam's as she kept glancing his way. She suddenly tripped and fell hard. Her leg got scraped and started bleeding. Ethan rushed to help her, but Liam, he sprinted over, knocked Ethan's hand away, and scooped Sophia up in his arms, carrying her outside. Sophia clung to him like an octopus. After watching the video, I had to admit Sophia was skilled. She knew exactly how to make men compete for her. It was her specialty. I called my secretary. Find me the contact information of a guy named Ethan. He's Sophia's student. After that night's fallout with Liam, he stopped coming home. I started seeing a therapist occasionally, just a little emotional maintenance. I told the therapist everything. She asked, "Have you ever heard of the term compliance testing?" I nodded. Yes, that was the only time I mocked a gift he gave me. He didn't like it, so he punished me, trying to make me submit. The therapist smiled. To be honest, you're mostly here to vent. Mentally, you're actually quite strong, but I can see that your calmness and maturity were forced out of you. Bitterness surged inside me. Growing up under my family's oppression? Well, at least I've been working through it these years. It's much better now. She advised, for now, as long as you get enough rest, staying busy will help you move past negative emotions. I agreed. I always listened to my therapist, so I threw myself into work. Too busy to feel anything else during the day. I buried myself in work. At night, after helping Nadia evaluate projects, I reviewed the gym footage my secretary sent me, like watching a drama series. Liam might not be coming home, but he still went to the gym every day, and at the exact same time, Sophia was always there too. Her leg healed remarkably fast. Rain or shine, she never missed a workout. Every time, she picked the machine farthest from Liam, and she always brought Ethan. Ethan took great care of her, adjusting her machine, handing her water, wiping her sweat. After all these years, I knew Liam too well. He acted like he was focused on his workout, but in reality, his mind was elsewhere, especially whenever Sophia and Ethan were chatting and laughing together. Liam's movements turned stiff. Meanwhile, Sophia, whenever she interacted with Ethan, always stole glances in Liam's direction. On this stage of 3, Sophia was deliberately using another man to make Liam jealous. Liam took the bait. His jealousy was burning. Only Ethan was blissfully unaware. Liam's workouts grew increasingly distracted. Finally, one day, Sophia stopped bringing Ethan. She struggled to adjust her machine, obviously failing. She looked around helplessly, her gaze locking onto Liam's. They stared at each other for a full minute, then they walked towards each other at the same time. Liam helped her adjust the nearest machine. They exercised side by side the entire time. Neither of them spoke a word, but I knew the fire was about to reignite. After half a month of not coming home, Liam called early one morning. "Clara, my business gala is in 3 days. I'll have someone deliver your gift to the house. Get ready." I kept my voice cold and replied with just 2 words. "No time." Then I hung up. That night, I invited Nadia over. We needed to go over the projects I had picked out for her. I had already analyzed everything for her. Right now, the most important things were deciding what to do about the baby and taking back control of her assets. I told Nadia to get a detailed list of all the properties under her husband's company. From that list, I selected a few that seemed insignificant but had great potential. No matter what it takes, beg him, act pitiful, whatever you have to do, get these under your name and you'll have a decent chance to get back in the game. Nadia was in awe of my business instincts and nodded repeatedly. She looked at the simple analysis report I had written and suddenly spoke. Clara, before I came here, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the baby, but now I know the answer. I won't be keeping it. Her voice choked. I can't go on living with a man who cheated on me. Since I'm leaving, my priority has to be rebuilding my career. I'll be too busy to give the baby a good start in life, and I'm not like you. You're rational enough, but I tend to be dependent on others. I'm afraid that if I have this baby, my whole life will revolve around them. That wouldn't be good for me or the child. Nadia held my hand. I also understand why you chose to keep yours. Your abilities give you the competence to do so. I nodded. Parental love isn't just about giving birth, it's about support. Making sure Liam leaves with nothing is just a punishment for him. My child doesn't need his money. I can provide everything they need. Nadia asked, have you considered the absence of a father? I took a sip of water. A child's well-being depends on their upbringing. An unfit father and a toxic home are worse than having no father at all. A capable mother can provide a complete education. Nadia's eyes turned red. She couldn't agree more. I clapped my hands and stood up. All right, enough serious talk. Nadia, let me show you something interesting. I brought out some healthy snacks and fresh juice. Then I clicked on the latest gym surveillance footage my assistant had sent over. Nadia quickly switched to gossip mode. Liam doesn't look too happy. I gave her a thumbs up. I gave him a hard time this morning. He's probably fuming. Fuming? Won't he need to vent? Where's his mistress? Nadia had barely finished speaking when Sophia appeared. The two of them jogged side by side in silence. The workout ended. Sophia picked up a water bottle, opened it, then set it back down. Looks like she forgot to fill it. She has no water, no towel, and is pitifully eyeing Liam's bottle and towel. She's making her move, I commented. Nadia scoffed. What a manipulator. Liam hesitated for a few seconds, clearly going through an internal struggle. Then he handed her the water bottle. After that, he slowly walked over, picked up his towel, and began wiping the sweat off her forehead. This moment Sophia must have been waiting for. She grasped Liam's hand, tears welled up and rolled down her cheeks. Then she suddenly wrapped her arms around his waist and kissed him. Nadia, mid-bite into a nut, froze, her mouth hanging open like a stunned hamster. Meanwhile, I was furiously clicking my mouse, taking screenshots one after another. Nadia threw her snack aside and asked for the gym's address. Screenshots aren't enough. Trust me, those two will take things further tonight. She quickly called the private investigator she had hired. Follow them now! At 9:00 p.m., the investigator sent an update. Liam and Sophia had gone to a hotel. Nadia grabbed her coat and pulled me up. We've got solid proof. Let's go bust them. As we walked towards the door, something occurred to me. Nadia, we don't have to go. I have a better candidate for this job. Do you remember that guy at the hospital who swore up and down that Sophia wasn't a homewrecker? I had looked into their relationship. Sophia had been handing off her research projects to Ethan, but she claimed most of the credit. The way he looked at her went far beyond admiration for a mentor. He had accompanied her to the gym multiple times. Their relationship was clearly more than just teacher and student. I picked up my phone and called Sophia's devoted follower. Hey, sorry to bother you, but I think you'd be very interested in what I have to say. At midnight, I received a bombshell response. Ethan was flooding me with photos, every single one capturing Liam and Sophia's affair in real time. Somehow he had managed to barge into their hotel room. In the pictures, Sophia was curled up under the blanket. Liam was in a bathrobe. Scattered on the floor were a few incriminating items. The images were scandalous enough to make anyone blush. Then Ethan called me. I'm sorry for what I said at the hospital before. Today, I finally realized how completely she fooled me. She used my feelings for her to exploit me while secretly entangling herself with your husband. He took a deep breath. I have to expose her true colors. I didn't say much. I just gave him an email address. It belonged to the wife of Sophia's former mentor. Through some digging, I had learned that Sophia wasn't actually talented in academia. During her time abroad, she climbed the ranks by latching onto her mentor, publishing multiple papers under his guidance. People in her field had long called her an academic leech. In the end, it was her mentor's wife who forced her to return home. I called Liam and told him to come back that night. He readily agreed. "I'm glad you finally came to your senses. I'll be home tonight." He thought I was surrendering. When he arrived, he looked exhausted, probably still reeling from Ethan's ambush. I decided to fan the flames. On the coffee table, I had laid out the incriminating photos. "Liam, the evidence is all here, isn't it?" His face burned with shame. His voice was hoarse. "So you really won't leave any room for negotiation?" I nodded. "We're getting divorced tomorrow. You leave with nothing. The child stays with me. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other." For once, Liam lost his temper. "You think you're so perfect? Let me tell you, this isn't entirely my fault. Look at yourself. Do you even act like a woman? You've always overshadowed me, ever since we were kids in school. You competed with me for the top spot every time. Fine, I could tolerate that. But even after marriage, you refused to settle down. You threw yourself into the business world, making a name for yourself. Now, when our relationship is crumbling, all you care about is money. You're as cold as a machine. Do you know why I love Sophia? She made me feel passion. She made me feel what it's like to have a woman rely on me." Liam had completely lost it. After his rant, he slumped onto the couch, holding his head. I listened in silence. The room fell quiet. Then suddenly, I laughed. Liam, his eyes red, glared at me. "What are you laughing at?" I shrugged. I just realized what impotent rage truly looks like. I couldn't even be bothered to argue with him. I had already wasted enough time on this man. You can't wake someone who pretends to be asleep. I handed him the divorce papers. Liam smeared them with his tears, but he signed. "Good. I'll divorce you and marry Sophia right away. She's nothing like you. Enjoy growing old alone with your money." "Thanks for the well wishes," I replied indifferently. Liam was livid. He grabbed the papers and signed them without even reading. During the divorce cooling-off period, my dad relentlessly called me. "Are you out of your mind? You're pregnant and still want a divorce?" I quietly listened as he went on about the disadvantages of divorce, the possible damage to both families' reputations, the potential property disputes, and the disintegration of their linked interests. But he never considered my happiness. I didn't say much and simply replied, "Liam's scandal is going to break soon. Divorce will protect our family, even if we take a step back, Dad. Whether I divorce or not is my choice. I'll consider your opinion, but I won't let you control me anymore. And tell Mom not to bother trying to convince me. It's useless." Since I was little, I had been subject to too much education from my dad. He taught me that girls don't need to be competitive. The most important thing is to marry a good man, to be modest, low-key, and obedient. He handed over the management of the family business to my brothers. He chose a good man for me, and my mom, for the sake of the children, chose not to divorce and worked hard to maintain the facade of peace. But in reality, she lived on edge, full of resentment. I didn't want that kind of life. My life and my child's life should be defined by us, not by anyone else. On the day we went to get the divorce certificate, Liam brought Sophia along. In front of Liam, Sophia looked incredibly awkward. I told him not to do everything in one day, but he wouldn't listen. But when Liam stepped away to take a call, she turned around and arrogantly flaunted it to me. "You lost to me in college, and now you're still losing. Thank you for taking care of Liam all these years. A man like him, he truly is the best life partner." I looked at her expressionless, as if she were a chicken trying to crow. After getting the divorce certificate, I smiled at Sophia before leaving. "Wish you happiness. Your wedding gift is on the way." Then, I turned and left. At the same time, I sent a message to Ethan. Divorce and marriage are done. Find a good time to release the news. Nadia managed to secure the assets and take care of things, then brought up divorce with her husband. Her ex-husband mocked her, thinking she was just posturing. Nadia told me she had already scheduled the surgery for that day. I went with her. Before entering the operating room, she gently rubbed her stomach and said, I feel guilty for the baby, but I don't have any other choice. I held her hand and said, We can only make the best decision, right? Nadia nodded and walked into the operating room. Inside and outside the room, one life was fading while another was growing. Yet both were expressions of the courage to start over. News about Liam leaving with nothing began to spread on social media. Clearly, he hadn't told Sophie about it. Instead, he hired a team of online influencers to post and spread news about him and Sophia's wedding. All the headlines praised their true love, saying it could overcome anything. But his so-called true love couldn't hold back anymore. Sophia angrily called me. Do you have no shame? After just one day of being married, you let him leave with nothing? You really played me. I laughed and replied, People act, but the heavens are watching. You better take care of yourself. After hanging up, a scholarly fairy topic exploded online. Someone went into great detail about how Sophia had taken resources or exploited students to achieve her academic results. There was also a report revealing evidence of her multiple attempts to destroy other people's marriages. That same day, Sophia's school quickly issued a statement saying they were investigating the situation. A few days later, the results came out. The situation was true. It violated professional ethics, and the lecturer had been dismissed. In comparison, the earlier posts about their true love seemed incredibly absurd. At the same time, someone leaked news about my pregnancy. It confirmed that Liam had cheated during our marriage while I was pregnant. This caused the stock prices of the entire group to plummet. Liam was originally a director at the company, and they swiftly issued a statement removing him from the board. His family was highly competitive. His older brother encouraged other family members to completely kick Liam out of the management team. At this point, I completely blocked all contact with Sophia and Liam. My belly slowly grew. At 8 months, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. When I answered, a familiar voice came through. Clara, is the baby coming soon? Can I see you? I want to be there when our child is born. It was Liam. We hadn't spoken in months, and his voice sounded so much older. Before I could say anything, he hurriedly added, Clara, I divorced that crazy woman, Sophia. I'm sorry. Can you? I interrupted him. Mr. Liam, what happens between you and your wife is none of my business. You've been tainted. Your career's fallen apart. Take a good look in the mirror. A man like you isn't fit to be the father of my child. My child has nothing to do with you. Please don't call me again. On the other end of the phone, Liam's voice cracked, and he couldn't say another word. Time passed quickly, and the due date arrived. Nadia, who had been working nonstop on a project, took time off to accompany me to the maternity center. Every day, she lay her head on my belly, listening to the baby move, her eyes full of tears. Clara, remember? This baby is yours, but also mine. I smiled and replied, speaking to the baby in my belly, Little rascal, look how much your godmother loves you. I'm so afraid she'll reach in and take you out now. The day I gave birth, after a loud cry, I officially received the precious gift from the heavens. In that moment, I was exhausted but filled with strength. I silently whispered in my heart, May you have clarity in your heart, health in your body. May your soul be free and your actions good. May you face all fears, follow your heart, and always move forward.